Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupaswarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakhyam Namami Bhaktashaktikam Namah Pankajanabhaya Namah Pankajamaline Namah Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajanghraye Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Sarvebhyo Namaha. Sarvesham Krite Swagatam. Welcome to this class. Today we will start chapter 11 of the Bhagavad-Gita. We have completed the first 10 chapters of the Gita. So what did we learn in those 10 chapters? I'll give a very brief overview so that there is continuity. The Bhagavad-Gita basically is a book of, you can say, happiness in very simple language. It teaches us that we are all eligible to a form of happiness that we don't normally pursue in this world. Normally, what kind of happiness do we pursue? We pursue happiness that we get through this body, through the senses, right? Through the different organs that we have, through the mind, through things like our social position, power, status, that kind of happiness. But the Gita teaches us that there is something much deeper, much more fine, much more pure than just sense-based or body-based happiness. And that is the happiness of the self, happiness of our original self, our real self. Okay, so that is called Adhyatma Sukha or spiritual happiness. Now, there is two aspects in it. One is realizing that we are spiritual in nature. That is the first step. And the second is realizing that we are actually connected to God, to Krishna. We have an eternal relationship with Him, eternal bond with Him. Okay, so this in very brief terms is what the Gita is teaching us. And then the Gita tells us that the way to connect with God is through yoga, what is called as yoga. Yoga, the word yoga in Sanskrit means to connect, connection, right? So in the Gita, Sri Bhagavan covers different ways in which yoga is done. And depending on how it is done, it's given different names. If it is done through our activities, our duties, primarily through our duties, by executing our duties sincerely with detachment, it is called karma yoga. If it's done by contemplation on knowledge, contemplation on the pure nature of the self, the difference between the self and matter, contemplating on those truths, it becomes jnana yoga. Jnanena yoga, jnana yoga. And if it is done through a relationship with Sri Bhagavan, by understanding what Sri Bhagavan personally wants, endeavoring to please Him, to make Him happy, that is called bhakti yoga. Bhaktya yoga, bhakti yoga. Okay, very broadly speaking, the Gita covers karma yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga, of which karma and jnana are considered to be one path, where karma yoga is the initial stage and jnana yoga is the more advanced stage of karma yoga. Bhakti yoga is an independent path. It's independent of karma and jnana. It is done by somebody, even without doing karma yoga, one can start doing bhakti yoga. Both of them are forms of dharma, two different forms of dharma, which have many similar common properties. In the first 6 chapters of Gita, predominantly karma yoga is spoken about. The middle 6 chapters, the second 6 chapters, chapters 7 to 12, predominantly bhakti is spoken about, bhakti yoga is spoken about. And in the last 6 chapters, chapters 13 to 18, jnana yoga is spoken about. But the overall conclusion of the Bhagavad-gita, the overall message of the Bhagavad-gita is that Bhakti Yoga, connecting with Sri Bhagavan in Bhakti, is the highest form of yoga. Because in that, we develop a personal relationship with Him. And there is nothing that can give more happiness than that personal relationship. And that is true even in this material world, right? Relationships with people, good, genuine, pure relationships which are trustworthy, which are filled with affection and love. Those relationships give us more happiness than just formal interactions with people, right? And that is true with God as well. So today we begin the 11th chapter. Now, in the 10th chapter, particularly 10th chapter, Sri Bhagavan has spoken about his vibhutis. That is why the 10th chapter is also called by some people as Vibhuti Yoga. So vibhuti means what? Vibhuti means grandeur or splendor. So Sri Bhagavan has different aspects to him. He has his personal aspect, he has an aspect of grandeur, splendor, etc. So in the 10th chapter, because the way it builds up the conversation between Arjuna and Krishna, Krishna ends up giving him descriptions about his own splendor, how he is present in the universe in different forms. He says, I am the best among every class of entities you can think of. Adityanam aham Vishnu, Jyotisham Raviransuman. Among the 12 Adityas, I am Vishnu. Among the luminary bodies, I am the sun. So in every set of entities, he says, think of me as the best entity among them. In that way, you will understand my grandeur. Okay. At the end of the 10th chapter, in concluding the 10th chapter, he says that now I have told you, O Arjuna, so many different examples of my splendor, my vibhuti. But what is the use of knowing all this? All you need to know is that just with a small fragment of myself, I pervade this entire universe. I pervade and I maintain this entire universe. This everything comes inside me, and I am inside everything. Okay, so everything is inside me, Sri Bhagavan says, and I am inside everything. In other words, everything in existence is me, is a form of me. Just know that much, that is enough, he says. So with that, the 10th chapter ends. Then in the 11th chapter, Arjuna begins to speak. So now you should try to put yourself in Arjuna's shoes, okay? Because all these years, since their childhood, Arjuna and Krishna were born almost the same time. They are very similar in their age. So they grew up more or less together. They were friends. They're cousins actually, but they grew up like very close friends. They have very close bonding between them, between each other. And so when you're having a close friendship with somebody, normally they don't say that, I am the whole universe. I am this, I am that. A friend doesn't talk to you like that. A friend talks to you about day-to-day matters. You play with each other, you tease each other. So you have that kind of friendship with a good friend, right? So now Krishna is speaking all this. Now Arjuna is hearing his own friend speaking all these kind of things. So he becomes curious. So he wants to know, well, all these things you're talking about, that you pervade everything, everything comes from you, everything goes back into you. I mean, are you serious? Can you show, if I ask you to show me whatever you're talking about, can you show that? He's into that frame of mind now, right? So let's see what Arjuna says. Okay, so we begin with the first shloka of the 11th chapter. He says, Arjuna uvacha madanugrahaya paramam guhyam adhyatma samyitam yatvayoktam vachastena mohoyam vigato mama. Arjuna uvacha. Arjuna uvacha means Arjuna said. Sanskrit, Arjuna uvacha. Uvacha means said in the distant past. Mad anugrahaya. Mad anugrahaya. Anugraha means blessing. Something done for somebody's good. So you have done for my good, mad anugrahaya, for my benefit, paramam guhyam, something that is supreme secret. Paramam guhyam means supreme secret. Adhyatma samyitam. Adhyatma samyitam means adhyatmam. Adhyatma means atmani, that which is in the atma, in the self. Samyitam, that which is known by that person. Okay. In other words, what is about you? About you. He's talking about Krishna. So you have spoken about yourself. Yat tvayoktam. Yat tvayoktam, yat tvaya uktam, what has been spoken by you. Vachaha, that whole discourse that you just gave me, which is covered in the 10th chapter. Tena, by that, moho ayam. Mohaha. Mohaha means confusion or delusion. Ayam mohaha, this confusion, vigato mama, has left me. I am no longer feeling confused, Arjuna says. So by that supreme secretive knowledge that you have given me about yourself, Adhyatma Samyitam, which has described your vibhutis, all different characteristics about you, you are this, you are that. By hearing all that, whatever confusion I had earlier, I asked you so many questions earlier, now all that confusion has been resolved. Mad anugrahaya. And you have very kindly spoken this for my benefit. So Arjuna is expressing his gratitude. Okay. So then, let's see what he says. We will read the translation of this. Arjuna said, by the supremely secretive discourse that you spoke for my benefit, which describes the vibhutis in you, this confusion of mine has cleared. Bhavapyayo hi bhutanam shrutau vistarasho maya tvattah kamalapatraksha mahatmyam api chavyayam. So what is it that I have learnt by hearing from you? Bhavapyayo hi bhutanam. Okay? Bhutanam. Bhutam means, in Sanskrit, the word bhutam can be used in different ways. Bhutam can mean a living being. Bhutam can also mean any entity, anything that has been created by Sri Bhagavan or created in this world. Anything that exists is called bhutam. Bhutam also means that which existed in the past, which has been existing since some time. That is called bhutam. Okay, so here it refers to the entire universe, all the things which exist in this universe. Bhavapyayav. Bhavascha apyayascha bhavapyayav in Sanskrit. Bhavaha means creation, coming into existence. Apyayaha. Apyayaha in Sanskrit means going out of existence, destruction. Bhavaha apyayaha. Bhavascha apyayascha bhavapyayav. Dvivachana, dual number. Right? Bhavapyayo hi bhutanam, all the creation as well as the dissolution or destruction of everything in this universe. Shrutau vistarasho maya. It has been heard by me from you. Vistarashaha, very elaborately, very expansively, I have heard all that you described in these 10 chapters. I have heard everything very clearly. Tvattaha, from you, all these things come from you. Oh, Kamala Patraksha. He is addressing Krishna as Kamala Patraksha. Kamala means lotus. Patram means the leaf of a lotus. Aksha means eyes. He says, your eyes are as beautiful as the leaf of a lotus. Okay, Krishna is beautiful, right? So he's describing Krishna like that. Oh, Kamala Patraksha. Mahatmyam api chavyayam. Your greatness, Mahatmyam, avyayam means it is endless. Your greatness is endless. So I've been hearing all this for a long time now. And all these things I've heard directly from you, not from a third party, from the horse's mouth. I've heard firsthand from you. Right? Tvattaha means from you directly. Oh, Kamala Patraksha, one with eyes resembling a lotus leaf. I heard elaborately from you that you are the cause of the creation and the destruction of everything in this universe. Earlier, Sri Bhagavan says in the 8th chapter, Aham sarvasya prabhavoho mattaha sarvam pravartate. Iti matva bhajante mam buddhaha bhava samanvitaha. Says, I am the source of everything because everything emanates from me. And knowing this, the intelligent people, they worship me. Right? So, I heard elaborately from you that you are the cause of the creation and the destruction of everything in this universe, and about your greatness that has no limits, your endless greatness. Evam etad yathatatvam atmanam parameshwara drashtumichhami te rupam aishwaram purushottama. Evam, in this way, I've heard all this. Etat, this thing. Yathat. Atha in Sanskrit means you, as you describe, what you have just described, Atha. Yatha Atha, just as you have described, I have heard everything. Tvam Atmanam Parameshwara, just as I have heard about yourself. Drashtumichhami, I wish to see. Drashtum ichhami. Ichhami means desire. Drashtum, to see. Drashtum ichhami, I wish to see. Te rupam, your form. What kind of form? Aishwaram. Aishwaram rupam. Aishwaram means, the word Aishwaram comes from Ishwara. Ishwara means master, Lord. Aishwaram rupam, your grand form. Okay, not the Vrindavan rupam. Like now you see the picture here on my PPT. This form of Krishna is holding a flute here. You can see that, right? Krishna is holding a flute. He is walking in a very casual manner. He's surrounded by birds, by those cows and calves and deer, peacocks. This is not his grand form. This is his Vrindavan form where he is a cowherd boy. He's a playful cowherd boy, and that is considered, the Bhagavatam teaches us that that is the original form of God. Krishna has his form like that. But for the sake of this universe, for the sake of governing this universe, and ensuring that there is dharma in this universe, there is law in this universe, he takes the grand form, the Aishwaram form. Because when we look at this form, we don't feel like we should bow down to it. Most of us don't, right? It's just a playful cowherd boy. Does anybody bow down to a cowherd boy? They don't. They just see there and they just go away. But if something is grand, something is big, huge, then we bow down to it. We feel respect towards it, right? So Aishwaram, that grand, splendorous form. Drashtumichhami te rupam Aishwaram Purushottama. And he's addressing him as Purushottama. Purushottama means, that's one of the names of Krishna. In Puri, Jagannath Puri, he's also called Purushottama, right? Purushottama Kshetram. Purushottama means the greatest among persons. Purusha means person. Uttamam means the greatest, highest. The highest among persons, that is Krishna. So now, Krishna, I know that you're not just my friend, but you're also the greatest among persons. You have been telling all this. So I want to see that form wherein I can really see your greatness. I only heard from you, but I have not seen anything. So I would like to also see what you're describing. You describe yourself like this, O Parameshwara, Supreme Master. So I wish to see your grand and splendorous form, O Purushottama, greatest person. Manyase yadi tatshakyam maya drashtumiti prabho yogeshwara tato me tvam darshaya atmanam avyayam darshaya atmanam avyayam. Manyase, you think. Manyase means you think. Yadi, if you think, tatshakyam, that is possible. If you think that is possible, what is possible? Maya drashtum iti prabho. That is possible for me to see that form. If you think it is possible for me to see that form, O Yogeshwara. He's addressing Krishna now as Yogeshwara. Yogeshwara means the master of the yogis. Yoginam Ishwaraha, Yogeshwaraha. Tato me tvam darshaya. Then, if you think it is possible for me to see that form, then please show me that form. Atmanam avyayam. That form in which you say that you are avyaya. Okay, Krishna has described himself earlier as avyaya. Avyaya means what? Jiska vyaya nahi hota hai. Vyaya means that which gets spent. Jiska vyaya hota hai, usko vyaya bolte hain. But that which doesn't get spent, which never gets exhausted, inexhaustible, that which is endless, which is infinite. Okay, because Krishna has described himself in that manner earlier. So, now please show me. You have described yourself as endless, as inexhaustible, etc. If you think it is possible for me to see that, please show me that form. Oh Prabhu, Master. Oh Yogeshwara, Lord of the yogis. If you think that it is possible for me to see it, please show me your eternal, everlasting, and inexhaustible form. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Now Arjuna has spoken 4 shlokas. Now Bhagavan is responding to him. Okay, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Shri Bhagavan said, Pashya me partha rupani shatashotha sahasrashah nana vidhani divyani nana varna kritini cha. Pashya me partha, oh Partha. Okay, Arjuna's, one of his names is Partha because his mother's name is Pritha. So the son of Pritha is called Partha. So Arjuna is called Partha, and when Krishna becomes his Sarathi, he becomes a charioteer in the Kurukshetra war. So Krishna is called Parthasya Sarathi, Partha Sarathi. Pashya me Partha Rupani. O Partha, see my forms, my Rupani, Pashya. See my forms, not just one form, Shatashotta Sahasrashaha. Shatashaha, Shatam in Sanskrit means 100. Sahasram means 1000. Okay. Shatashaha means in hundreds. And Atha Sahasrashaha in thousands. Please see my forms not just as one person, but as hundreds of different things. And not merely hundreds, but thousands. In other words, innumerable. Shatashotha Sahasrashaha Nana Vidhani Divyani. Nana Vidhani. Nana Vidham means multifarious, numerous. Nana Vidham. Not just Eka Vidham, Nana Vidham. Multifarious Divyani. Divyam means divine. English word divine and Sanskrit word divyam, very closely related. Right? So divine, divyan, divyam, divyani. Divine forms. And what will they be like? Nana Varna Kriti Nicha. Nana means various. Varna Akriti Nicha. Okay, in Sanskrit, Varnam. Varnam has multiple meanings. One of the meanings of Varnam is color. Varnam. Krishna Varnam means black color. Hema Varnam means golden color. Varnam also has another meaning, category. Varna, like Varnashrama, we say categories, Varnas. So, Nana Varna Akriti Nicha. Akriti means form, shape or form. Okay, so see my forms, in other words, see them not just as one thing, but in different colors, in different shapes, in different categories. You'll see all kinds of things now. Get ready for that. Okay, so he's preparing Arjuna. Before he actually shows him, he's giving him a kind of a preparation, a primer, saying that now expect all this. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Pashya me Partha Rupani Shatashotta Sahasrashaha Nana Vidhani Divyani Nana Varna Kriti Nicha. Shri Bhagavan said, O Partha, son of Pritha, please see my divine forms by the hundreds and thereafter by the thousands of numerous types, colors, shapes, and figures. Pashyadityan vasun rudran ashvinau marutasthatha bahunyadrishta purvani pashyascharyani bharata. Oh Bharata. Okay, Arjuna is also called as Bharata. Bharata refers to him being the descendant of the king by name Bharata. There was a king by name Bharata, and Bharata was the son of Dushyanta and Shakuntala, right? Their son Bharata. And Shakuntala is the daughter of Vishwamitra. So therefore, Bharata is the grandson of Vishwamitra. Okay? So Vishwamitra's grandson Bharata, and today we live in India, which is called Bharata Varsha. That's named after this Bharata. So the same word Bharata is also used to address anybody who is a descendant of that king. So we just mentioned that Arjuna is being addressed by Sri Bhagavan as Bharata because he is the descendant of the king Bharata. Okay. All right. Now he says, Pashya Adityan Vasun Rudran. Pashya means see in my form. Okay? He's about to show that. He has not yet shown it. Adityan, see all the Adityas. Okay. He began in the 10th chapter when he started talking about his vibhutis. The very first thing he mentioned was Adityana Maham Vishnuhu. He referred to the 12 Adityas. Then he also touched upon the Vasus. Okay, so the Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, the Maruts, they're all sons of Aditi, right? They're all sons of Kashyapa and Aditi. So the Vasus, the 8 Vasus, the Rudras, the 11 Rudras, the Ashwinav means the twin sons of Ashwini. Maruts, the 49 Maruts. So all those living beings whom I just spoke about, now see them inside me. Bahuni Adrishta Purvani. Bahuni, so many different. Adrishta Purvani means that which has not been seen before. okay, particularly by you. You have never seen them before. You always knew me as your friend, your cousin. Now, Pashya, Ascharyani, and you will be amazed to see, right? Please see them. Oh, descendant of King Bharata, see the Adityas, the Vasus, the Rudras, the twin sons of Ashwini, the Maruts. Likewise, see numerous other amazing things that have not been seen before. Ihaikastam jagatkritsnam pashyadya sacharacharam mama dehe gudakesha yachanyad ichhasi. Ihaikastam means here. Ekastam, in a single place. You don't have to go like in an exhibition hall from one booth to another booth. Just standing where you are in a single place. Ihaikastam jagat kritsnam. Jagat kritsnam. Kritsnam means entire, comprehensively. Jagat is the entire universe in its comprehensive form. See it. Pashya, adya. Today, right now, see it. Sacharacharam. Chara achara means moving and non-moving. All the moving and non-moving beings see at once in one place in my body. Mama dehe, my body. Oh, Gudakesha. Okay, Arjuna, one of Arjuna's names is Gudakesha. Gudaka means sleep. Gudakesha means one who has conquered his sleep. Arjuna is known by that name because it is said that he was free from that tamas, which causes sleep. Okay, so he did not need to sleep. Yachanya drashtumichasi. Whatever else that you might wish to see. Okay, now I will show you all this, but after that, if you want to see something more, you can tell me that also, I'll show you. Right? Yacha anyat drashtumichasi, the last portion. It's a little bit humorous there, because you will see at the end, after Krishna shows him all that, what he wants. Right? We'll come there. He says, oh, Gudakesha, now here itself in one place, see the entire universe in my body, along with its moving and non-moving beings, as well as anything else that you wish to see. Is it coming clearly? It is coming. Ihaikastham jagatkritsnam pashyadya sacharacharam mama dehe gudakesha yachanyat drashtumichhasi natu mam shakyase drashtum anainaiva swachakshusha divyam dadamite chakshuhu pashyame yogamaishwaram. He says, okay, I'll show you all these things, but natu mam shakyase drashtum. You will not be able to see all these things. Anainaiva swachakshusha, with the eyes that you currently have, with the sense of vision that you currently have, you will not be able to see all these things. Therefore, divyam dadami te chakshuhu. I will give you divine vision. Divyam dadami. Divyam means divine. Dadami te chakshuhu. I'll give you chakshu, which is divine chakshu. Divyam dadami te chakshuhu. Pashyame yogam aishwaram. See my divine aishwarya. See my divine grandeur. See this grandeur right now. Yes. Okay, so this is the 8th shloka. Natu mam shakyase drashtum anainaiva swachakshusha divyam dadamite chakshuhu pashyame yogam aishwaram. But with your own sense of vision, you will certainly not be able to see this. Hence, I give you a divine sense of vision. See my supreme and mighty form. So with this, after this shloka, with which we are going to stop for today, Sri Bhagavan will now reveal his form and Sanjaya will describe that. Sanjaya will describe what Arjuna saw, okay, from the next shloka onwards. And we will go into that because it becomes a whole section of description of the different things that he saw, and it's very fascinating. It's like you're standing on the ground with the open sky and suddenly the sky changes into something else that you've never seen before. So what Arjuna saw is described there and how he reacted after that. But up till here is just a preparation, and there is 2 ways of understanding this. The first is, you see, Arjuna is impressed. In the first 10 chapters, he is very impressed with all the description that he has heard about his friend from his own friend's mouth. And so he's now curious. Out of that friendship and affection, He's excited. He wants to see, oh, my friend has all these things. I want to see what my friend has, and I want to know him better. I didn't know all this before. So in that excitement, he is asking Krishna, please show me these things. And Krishna will then show him. That's one way to understand this. And a deeper way to understand this is how Arjuna actually is not in the real bond of friendship in this situation. He has been put into Maya by Krishna. So he's not really speaking as Krishna's friend there. He's speaking as someone who is totally confused about what to do now. For this, we should go back to the chapter 1, where we should ask, why did they even start this conversation? They are here not for talking philosophy. They are here because it's supposed to be a dharma yuddha, supposed to be a battle for establishing dharma. The Pandavas have been cheated. They have been deprived of what they are supposed to get. And the situation has become that they now have to fight a war to get back what is rightfully theirs. The war is about to begin. Arjuna is expected to fight. He is, in fact, the best among the Pandava warriors. He is the best, and the whole Pandava contingent is dependent on him as the leader, right? But he says, I'm not going to fight. He says, I'm confused. How can I kill my relatives? How can I do this? How can I do that? I want to leave and go. So in that situation, this conversation begins. And Krishna is now trying to convince him that don't speak like this. And he gives him reasons why Arjuna should not be speaking that way. So Arjuna, we should understand, they're not having a friendly conversation there. It's not a conversation between two close friends. It's a conversation between one confused person and another person who is trying to clear his confusion and trying to put him back on track so that the war can start and things can become normal. It's spoken like that. So Arjuna is a doubtful living being. He's in the state of doubt. He's not willing to accept. Krishna has already told him in the beginning itself. When Krishna begins to speak in the second chapter. Okay, in the first chapter, Krishna does not speak. Only Arjuna speaks. And before that, Dhritarashtra speaks. And after that, Duryodhana speaks. They all speak in the first chapter. Second chapter, first shloka, Krishna starts speaking. The very first thing he speaks to Arjuna is that he says, what is wrong with you? He scolds him. He's not speaking in a friendly tone. He's speaking in a scolding tone. He says, you're speaking something that is not at all appropriate for a Kshatriya of your category. You're the highest among the Kshatriyas, highest among the noble people. And you shouldn't be speaking like this. So he begins like that. Right from that time, Krishna says, stop this speaking and start fighting. Start doing your job. You come here for that job. Right? Just imagine, it's like, let's say there is a sport match. Okay, now there is a T20 World Cup going on. There's a match going to begin. And everybody has gathered there. The toss is over. The batting team, the two batsmen have come and taken their position. The bowler is there. Umpires are there. And all of a sudden, the bowler comes and says to the umpire or to his captain that, Captain, look, I don't want to bowl. Because why? Because I know that if I bowl, I'll be able to defeat all of them. I'll be able to take all the wickets and they will lose the match. The captain says, that's why we have come here. He says, no, there will be so much sadness if they lose. They're all my friends. How stupid it looks, right? You're here to bowl. You're here to play the match. You're here to win the match for your side. It's exactly like that. So Krishna has been trying to convince him all this time. And Arjuna, every time Krishna gives him a reason why he should fight, if you trace the conversation from second chapter till the end of the 10th chapter, he's giving him reasons why he should stop asking questions and start fighting. And Arjuna asking new questions. And now it has come to this point. You see, after 10th chapter, again, four new slokas Arjuna is speaking and asking him to show his form. It's not enough that you described your form, but please also show me, because it doesn't look real to me, all that you have said. So please prove to me that you really are that thing that you are saying. But Krishna is very kind, right? His kindness, and he is very patient. He's very patient. He doesn't say that, okay, now I'm fed up with you. There's no point in telling you you're a stupid guy. He doesn't want to say that. He's okay, I'll be patient with you. Let me give you one more chance. You want to see my form? Okay, I'll show you my form. Maybe that will convince you. So the rest of the 11th chapter, Sri Bhagavan will show his form, and then we will see how Arjuna reacts to that and what happens after that. Good. So Bhaskar, you have a question? You raised your hand.
Yes, sir. So, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, yes. Please.
Sir, I was just curious that for how many days did Bhagwan Krishna give this part of Gita to Arjuna? Did it go for hours or days?
There are different accounts of this. Some people say, yeah, one muhurta, which is 48 minutes. I've heard another version where somebody said 18 minutes. Yeah, because
18
Krishna,
minutes.
18 minutes. Yeah,
Really?
because he did not speak it in the verses that we are reading now. What he spoke was not all these verses. These verses are written by Sri Vyasadeva in the Mahabharata. Bhagavad-gita is given to us through the Mahabharata, right? It's a subset of the Mahabharata. Mahabharata is 100,000 shlokas, of which the Bhagavad-gita is 700 shlokas. So what Krishna actually spoke on the battlefield was not all these shlokas, but something that is captured in these shlokas. So it is said that, so there's one version which says he spoke it in 18 minutes. So I don't have a exact number to tell you, but it's not definitely very long time.
Okay.
So keep in mind
Because
that
I was wondering, sir,
both sides are
if it
waiting.
was if it was long enough, then what was the army doing in that time,
Yes,
right? Because
yes,
the
yes,
two
exactly.
sides standing and about to start the war. So
Yeah. What
that
were they
was
doing?
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just not like 18 minutes. How are they able to cover so much of so many topics?
Yeah. Or they covered it very concisely. They covered it. Krishna made his points very clear in a short time. Arjuna asked his doubts within that much time. But when Vyasadevji gives it for us, he gives it in a lot of elaboration. A lot of elaboration. Yeah.
Maybe that they were in a different dimension altogether, right? So we think in terms of time, the way we see time. But
Yes.
because it was so much, I mean, the realm was different and the dimensions of measurement were probably different
Yes.
when this
Yes.
happened.
True. 5,000 years back, things were different. The way they looked at time was different. Yes. True. Sir, you had a question? Yes. Yes.
When I explain one by one, this will happen after that, this is like that.
Yes. Yes. He will show his Vishwarupam now. Now that Arjuna has asked him to show. So he is about to show that. In the next class, we will go into the description of that Vishwarupam. Yeah.
So is the floor open to questions?
Yes. Yes. Sarthak. Yes.
Sir, in this very shloka, Divyam Dadami Te Chakshuhu.
Yeah.
So the direct mind you have already spoken that you cannot see with your own eyes. Let me provide you the divine vision.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, does this also have a deeper meaning? For example, the most that you can do is tapasya or upasana, but finally the prema that you receive or
Yes.
moksha that you receive, it comes only by the grace of God.
Yeah.
Your tapasya alone will not do.
Yes.
And on even a second level that even your doing tapasya or continuing tapasya or even taking up tapasya is not your own.
Yeah.
It again comes by the grace of God.
Yes. Yes.
So you essentially have no free will.
You have a free will to accept that inspiration from him. Just like Duryodhana was shown the same, a part of this Vishwarupa was shown to Duryodhana as well. Right? When Krishna went to convince him not to fight the war. And eventually it reached a point where Duryodhana and Karna and others wanted to catch Krishna and put him behind bars. So at that point, Krishna showed his Divya Rupam as a last resort to try to tell him that, look, I'm not an ordinary human being. You think I'm an ordinary king or a human being. I'm not that. I'm actually Bhagavan himself. Your father knows it. Dhritarashtra knows it, but you don't believe it. So Duryodhana could see that. He had the free will to accept it, but he chose not to accept it.
So did Duryodhan himself choose not to accept it, or
Yeah.
it was again a part of Leela?
No,
Duryodhan
no.
मान जाता तो sir कुछ होता ही नहीं फिर मतलब how would the Mahabharata have come or how would the Gita be available to the rest of us? So
That Shri Bhagavan can give it to us in other ways also. Duryodhana was a character. It is not Leela. Duryodhana is not accepting it is not Leela.
So, but we say Ravan is a Leela, right?
Duryodhana is not that. Ravan is, yes. In the
But
case of
why-
Ravan, it is like that. In the case of Duryodhana, it is not like that.
But why not? Because we say that Duryodhana is also a Jivatma, a fragment of Sri Bhagwan. And since Sri Bhagwan is omnipotent and controlling everything, all Aishwarya is his. There is nothing that can disobey him. So ultimately, there must have been some consent from Sri Bhagwan in order for Duryodhana to act in that manner.
See, everything happens by his sanction, but not by his will. It's our will, he sanctions it, but he doesn't will it. He doesn't want us to do crime. We do crime. It is out of our choice. He is not making us do crime. Because we have the freedom to do crime based on our karma, our past karma. Duryodhana's past karma, whatever he had done, gave him so much freedom. He could occupy the position of an emperor. He could get access to so much riches, to armies, to royal respect. He misused it. That misuse of power was his choice. He had a lot of opportunity to not misuse it. Even Shakuni at one time advises Duryodhana that please return the kingdom back to them. Enough. You have done enough anyaya to them. There's one point of time. That is when the Kauravas are defeated by the Gandharvas in the forest. You see, when the Pandavas have been sent to the Vanavas, at one point, what happens is the Pandavas are moving around in the country and they reach a place which is close to Hastinapur. Okay, they've been wandering here and there. And the Kauravas come to know that. And a few years have passed. So the Kauravas have now managed to get control over the kingdom completely. And they're thoroughly enjoying the luxuries and everything. So, but their jealousy has not gone. They're still jealous of the Pandavas. And they want to make them feel bad. Although they already are in the forest and they are not living a luxurious life, they're living a simple life, they want to still make them feel bad. So what they do is they say, let's go there. Let's go to the place where the Pandavas are camped and we will show them how much power and how much luxury we have, how much affluence we have. Let's show them. So they go there and they camp nearby. And at the same time, there's this beings called as Gandharvas. Gandharvas are divine beings. They sometimes come to the earth. So they also happen to be there. And these people, they clash with the Gandharvas. And the Gandharvas are much more powerful. So here we have Karna, Duryodhana, his brothers, and Shakuni and all these people. And they are fighting with the Gandharvas. They're very arrogant. Karna says, I will defeat them. But the Gandharvas beat them up so badly that Karna runs away from there. Karna just runs away. He abandons Duryodhana there and he runs away, despite all the bragging he's done. Then Duryodhana eventually is caught by the Gandharvas and he's bound. He's tied up. They're going to kill him. I mean, he's in that position. At that time, the soldiers who are fighting in that war against the Gandharvas with the Kauravas, they somehow escape from the hands of the Gandharvas and they come to the Pandavas. They know the Pandavas are nearby. In fact, they have come there to trouble them. So they come to the Pandavas, they come to Yudhishthira, they fall at his feet and say, please help us. The Gandharvas have captured us. We don't know what to do. So Yudhishthira just gets up and says, don't worry. He talks to his four brothers. He calls Arjuna, Bhima, Nakula, Sahadeva and says, please go and release them, get them released. So these four go there, they talk to the Gandharvas and they get them released. The Gandharvas are very happy to see the Pandavas. So they release these people, they let them go, and Duryodhana is completely humiliated because he has come there to trouble the Pandavas and Pandavas have freed them from the hands of the Gandharvas, about to get killed there. So he's humiliated. And he goes back and he's so humiliated, he wants to commit suicide. He's so depressed. He says, I am no good. Even this much I could not do. And Karna left me and ran away. So Karna meets him on the way back. And he thinks that Duryodhana has fought and defeated the Gandharva and come. So he congratulates him. His congratulations, well done, you have won the war and this and that. And then he comes to know that this is what happened. So Shakuni tells Duryodhana that now, it's okay. What happened. Past is past. Now you can begin a new life. Okay. Now let's have peace. You bring them back. Please bring the Pandavas back. You give them the kingdom. They have saved you. You punish them. You send them to the forest. But now they have saved your life. Acknowledge it. Please acknowledge it and please give them back. Shakuni is telling him. But Duryodhana does not do that. He doesn't want to do that. So let me come back to my conclusion. The conclusion is that we have free will. And it's how we choose that free will that decides where we go. Yeah. Madam, you had a question.
It's free will that.
Yeah.
So somewhere I also read that it also depends on your prakriti and prakriti. You know, the prakriti, the three rajas, tamas, and sattva gunas that we talk about. So suppose, as you also mentioned, that we have a free will and also we commit the mistakes based on the past karma that we do. But then again, we are born with certain nature,
Yes.
certain guna. So that particular guna also depends on our past karma.
Yes.
Or is it like different, like the current situation that we are born in?
Yeah.
How much control do we have to change the gunas and that free will that we talked about?
Yeah. It's a very good question. It's a very basic question, actually. Our past karma creates what is known as samskara. Yeah. Or karma in general, our current karma, what we are doing now, the experiences we go through in a given life, the activities we do, the kind of choices we make now, creates samskara. Samskara means, the very crude translation of samskara in English would be impressions. Subtle impressions in our subconscious mind, in our subtle body. And these samskaras, they lead to what are called as vasanas. Vasanas can be translated as tendencies, orientations, tendencies, proclivities. So these samskaras, which are created because of our experiences, our activities, our karma creates these samskaras, which leads to vasanas. So when we are born in a particular birth, all the past karma that we have done, the cumulative effect of that, we are born with the samskaras and vasanas that resulted from that. That is what we bring into a particular birth. That's what comes as swabhav. That becomes our swabhav in a particular birth. Swabhav is the nature with which we are born in a particular birth, when we take birth. Right? So that swabhav is, so according to that swabhav, the three gunas act upon us. The three gunas are nothing but instruments in the hand of Prakriti. The three gunas are you can say, the three levers of Prakriti. They are ropes. Actually, guna in Sanskrit means rope. So the three ropes used by Prakriti to bind us in different ways. In the 14th chapter, if you see how they are described as ropes which bind us. Samskara. Yeah. Yeah. Papa. Yeah. So that's what Sri Bhagavan asks. Arjuna asks this in the 3rd chapter, this question. That despite knowing, means he has good enough samskar to know that it is wrong to do that. Like Duryodhana knows, he has enough education to know that these things are wrong. But still he does it. Why is that? Why is it driven? So Sri Bhagavan says there is an enemy inside us which is called kama. So there's this famous shloka, kama esha krodha esha rajoguna samudbhavaha mahashano mahapapma vidyena miha vairinam. Says there's this great enemy residing inside each of us, which is called kama, and also known as krodha. The same enemy is known by two names, kama and krodha. Kama means desire for anything, desire for sensual enjoyment, desire for power, desire for status, desire for supremacy, any form of desire which is material in nature. So kama, which then becomes krodha when it is not allowed to be satisfied. When it is not satisfied, it becomes krodha, anger. And this is what makes a person do papa. It forcefully makes him do papa. Means even though he knows theoretically, if you ask even a criminal, didn't you know that it was wrong to do this murder? Of course I knew. Anybody knows that it's wrong to murder and murder will take you into the jail. But still he went and murdered because he could not control his desire to do that act. Right? His desire drove him to do that. So desire. Icha. Fear does confuse us. Fear also may tend to commit path. Yes, sometimes yes, because fear confuses you. Fear sometimes out of protection, wanting to protect oneself, feeling insecure, one may, yes. Fear as well. Okay. Yeah.
Sir, I had a question on similar.
Yeah, fear is a part of moha. You can say fear, moha. Yeah, moha is, yeah. So moha is also a contributing factor. You can say an antecedent, or it comes along with desire. Desire combined with moha leads to doing things which are completely bad for us, ourselves, which harms us in the future. Yeah.
Surrendering God.
Yeah.
Attachment and faith.
Surrendering simply means, or taking his refuge, sharanagati. It means accepting his niyam. भगवान का जो नियम है उसको मानना, उसका स्वीकार करना. Accepting that this is what Sri Bhagavan wants, and let me live my life according to his desire. That is called sharanagati. Nothing more than that. Nothing radically different from that. It's just like we take the refuge of a king, let us say. Like we say people who are refugees from Bangladesh, people came to India, they became refugee, or somebody went from some other country. What does it mean? It means that they are willing to accept that country's norms and live in that country according to the way that country's laws are prescribed. That's all. So when we live according to the laws of Bhagavan, dharma, which is dharma, when we live according to dharma, then we are taking his refuge. He's very pleased with that. That is why he is so pleased with Yudhishthira, Arjuna, the Pandavas. He goes to the extent of saying that I am your servant. I'll do whatever you tell me. You order me, I will do it. So he's become a charioteer. He's become for them.
After Niharika ji, I had a question on these lines.
Okay. Does it address your question? Yeah. Okay. Niharika, you had something?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Niharika?
Hello.
Good evening,
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you're audible. Yes.
Sir, so my question was, while you were explaining the process of past karma becoming how it becomes swabhava. So in our, if I bring this to our day-to-day life, and we become aware, like what is the dominant guna in us, or what is the dominant swabhav in us, and we are aware that probably there is one XYZ thing or couple of things which are wrong in us. Then how do we correct? Because fundamentally, when you are saying it's sanskara, it is also a little feeling that it is there, it has been there for a long while, it's an impression, as you explained. So how does one move ahead from that? So now you are aware that it is an impression, you are aware it is wrong, and you want to move ahead. So how does one do that, sir?
Yes, simple. So that is why it is said the very first thing is Shravanam, hearing, listening to the words of the Shastra. Okay, like for example, now we are studying the Bhagavad-Gita. When we hear the Bhagavad-Gita and similar Shastra like the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, the Bhagavatam, etc., then we become aware of what dharma is. We come to know why we are in the condition that we are in right now. Right? And we come to know what our goal should be. What should we aspire for? What will make us really happy, eternally happy? Right? What are those principles? So we begin by that, and we hear. As we hear, our Shraddha develops. Shraddha means the conviction inside. Okay, the Shraddha develops inside us that, okay, this is what I should be doing, and this is what I should not do. What I should do, what I should not do. What is wrong in what I'm doing, and what is right in what I'm doing. We learn to discriminate between right and wrong. And slowly, as we do this over and over again, and we associate with people who also are like us, who are on the same path, looking to improve themselves, correct themselves, go forward, we slowly refine ourselves. That is how it happens. And this is something that anybody can do. The Shastra is not for one class of people, it is for everybody. Anybody can follow it.
Sir, thank you.
Like, we were talking about the theoretical knowledge about what is right and what is wrong. So Duryodhana had this theoretical knowledge that what I am doing is wrong, but still he did wrong because he was acting out of his samskara,
Ichha.
vasanas,
Ichha, yeah.
ichha and dvesha.
Kama, yeah.
But he had only this theoretical knowledge that okay, what I am doing is wrong. But actually, while doing it, he just simply did it. But when we talk about Kansa, so sir, you told that at the time of birth of Sri Krishna, the babies were interchanged, and then he went ahead to kill the baby made out of Yoga Maya.
Yeah.
And then she escaped out of his hand and said, "Ki, Kans, you have done much wrong, and please do not go and kill other babies." And at that point of time, Kans wept, and he wept very heavily. He wept so hard that he was entirely drenched in his own tears and all. So he realized that he has done something wrong. But then again, when he went back to his ministers, they again did some brainwashing to him. So why he could not hold on to that knowledge that he had received? Why did that again work?
Yeah, because the Ichha is so strong. The Ichha to see if somebody can come and brainwash you like that. Just like somebody comes to you today and says, why don't you join me for a booze party tonight? Okay. Now you have a choice. You can say yes to it. You can say, no, I don't want to drink alcohol. Okay. Now, depending on that person, he may go either way. The person has got that samskara which is built up in him, and he has developed conviction that drinking even a drop of alcohol is not good for my long-term benefit. I will not take it. I'll stay away from it. Then he will just say no. He'll continue to keep the friendship, but he will not take alcohol. So it's our Ichha. But if the person has got some Ichha, that seed is there in him, that let me just try once, that will drag him to that. That's the nature of desire.
But when he had the realization of Yoga Maya actually telling him knowledge, wasn't that seed destroyed?
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't destroyed. Yeah. So maybe temporarily it had an effect. It made him think. It made him think, but it did not remove that beej in his heart. That seed of desire was very much there. He had not given it up.
When
Right?
Sri Krishna showed his Virat roop to Duryodhana,
Yeah.
then
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
Yeah. Nothing happened.
So
Yeah.
then what determines how much will this cause have an effect?
Yeah. So there, that is where our free will, that is why free will is very much a real thing.
Free will is real.
Free will is very much a real thing. It's very much there, along with consciousness, because we have consciousness in us. Along with consciousness, there is also free will.
So man wills, right? The mana wills. Or
The Atma wills. Man is only the mind is only an instrument. Mind is a piece of matter. Mind is material.
but sir, why will the Atma will? Because Atma is of an eternal nature.
Atma, I mean, if I have to think of the Venn diagram sort of thing, then first comes the mind. I think inside the mind would be the Atma, am I right?
No, no. The Atma is the person. I am an Atma. You are an Atma. He is an Atma. The person is the Atma. The body, the mind and the body and everything are just coverings of the Atma in this material existence. They are not part of the Atma.
Sheets that we talk about.
Ha.
One of my short
So they are all not part of the Atma. They are coverings of the Atma. Maybe the last kosha, the consciousness, if they are talking about pure consciousness, Vijnanamaya kosha.
The Anandamaya kosha is also a sheath, not the Atma. The Atma.
It's a sheet, yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
a sheath.
Atma
So
pervades it.
anything, see, we have to see exactly how they define it in yoga. This is coming from the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali. Am I right?
So,
These 5 koshas.
Patanjali Yoga Sutras.
What is the original source of these 5 koshas? It's mentioned in so many places, but if I vaguely remember, it is in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. They talk about, okay, find out where it is, but wherever it is, we'll see the definition there. Now, if it is describing them as something that the Atma can come out of, that means they are not a part of the Atma. The Atma's pure nature is consciousness and knowledge. Chit, Sat and Chit. Sat means the property of being eternal. The Atma can never be destroyed. The self, the person. That is us. Each of us is that. And consciousness. Consciousness is part of the Atma. That can never be separated from the Atma. Chit. Chit means both consciousness, it also means knowledge, pure knowledge. The knowledge that I am the Atma, that I am free from matter. So this is a part of the Atma. The mind is separate from this. Mind is something that exists only in this samsara, what we call the mind. The Atma is capable of thinking and having free will and experiencing free will without the mind. Mana, Buddhi, Ahankara, all these three are outside of the mind. The Atma does not need all of any of them by itself. Outside of the Atma. Yeah. Mana, Buddhi, Ahankara, outside of the Atma. Yes.
The person's consciousness is expanded and the person's realization of the self happens faster.
Absolutely. On the dot, yes. It's exactly what it is. Yes.
But that can be what sadhanas.
Yes. The purpose of sadhana is to be able to free ourselves from mana, buddhi, ahankara. They are the deep trappings. They are what is holding us and preventing us from experiencing our true consciousness. Right now, when we do sadhana, we have to work through them because we are so much into them. But as we do sadhana, we have to free ourselves from them. And that is why sadhana involves both swadhyay. Swadhyay means study of the Shastra, contemplation on the meanings of the Shastra, and doing things like japa, etc. Dhyan, etc. Yeah. It's so nice, isn't it? It's so clear. This philosophy, there's no ambiguity in it. Yeah. Those online, do you have any questions? Sarthak?
Sir, may I ask one question?
Yeah, Puneet, yes.
So earlier we have discussed that the actions what we do, the deeds what we do, all or somewhere are pushed by the environment we live in. And on the other hand, we are saying that our Atma drives the things which what we do. So where is the difference in these two? Either the deeds environment has all the pressure on us, or the our mind and other things Atma
See,
has.
the idea is this, that because we are attached to this material world, we have what is called a sangha. Sangha means association. We are in contact with the material world, and therefore it influences us. Right? The friends we move with, the kind of activities we see, we watch, we do ourselves, they influence our thinking. And they give us new desires, desires which we didn't have before, we develop when we see them. Right? Suppose you see somebody eating a very nice ice cream, let's say. You may not have thought of having an ice cream at all, but when you see that person eating that ice cream, in your mind that desire comes. Okay, let me also taste it. Let me also have an ice cream when I go back to my home today. Right? And that is how advertising works, no? In advertisements, what do we see? We see a model. The model is enjoying some product, right? It could be a food product. It could be a vehicle like a car. You see some model enjoying that. And the company which is doing the advertising is trying to basically sell the product to us by planting the desire in our mind through that model. So that is called sangha. Sangha means when we see another person engaged in an activity, we develop a desire to do the same activity. And that is why satsanga is prescribed. In satsanga, we see a saintly person, a person with some saintly qualities, engaging in an activity of dharma. Okay, could be doing some japa, or doing some bhajan, or studying the shastra, or observing a vrata. So when we see that, then we may be attracted to that. And if we are attracted to that, then that's our good fortune. We are learning, we are benefiting from that. So Puneet, is your question addressed?
Got it, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Where? Taittiriya Upanishad. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Well, we'll go into it deeper. Yeah. So in the coming chapters, as we go forward, we will complete the 11th chapter in a few weeks, and then we'll go to the 12th chapter. The 12th chapter is about bhakti. It's called Bhakti Yoga. And there Sri Bhagavan, because he ends the 11th chapter on a note of bhakti, the last two shlokas of the 11th chapter, if you see, he's talking about bhakti. So in the 12th chapter, he expands on that, and he tells Arjuna that these are the qualities I want you to develop. It tells the qualities of his bhaktas and what the essence of bhakti is. Eventually, we will see as we conclude the Bhagavad-Gita that he's advocating to Arjuna that please adopt bhakti. Don't worry about all the other things I have told you. Just take my refuge and I will protect you. Okay, so the ultimate message of Bhagavad-Gita is bhakti. And in the Kali Yuga, it is said, the Yuga that we are currently living in the Kali Yuga, it is practical to only do bhakti yoga. Because the other forms of yoga, even though we can understand them, they are actually not so easy to practice. They are challenging to practice. Whereas bhakti, from a practical perspective, is also the easiest yoga to practice. It's very pleasurable. For our Kali Yuga situation, the kind of mentality we have, bhakti is the path that is advocated. And that you can also connect with the Gita being spoken just before the Kali Yuga begins, right? Gita was spoken at that point of time. So it is introduction to the practice of Kali Yuga.
Sir, I had one question here. So, in some chapter, I don't remember exactly, but we had talked about what you think about in your last moment, you become that in your next one.
Yeah.
So we had discussed the story of Jada Bharata in detail.
Yes.
So, sir, I wanted to know there are some very saintly people, for example, say Surdas ji, who would then think of Sri Krishna as a childlike form, or maybe so they are thinking that okay, this is a child who I have to take care of, or maybe any other form. So you might associate God in some relationship, yeah, and be in some relationship in God. So are you liberated at that moment, or it takes one after the death only you reach to that particular loka and are liberated?
See, the word liberation or mukti is understood in different ways. The basic form of liberation is something we get even when we are living in this body because of our absorption in Bhagavan. When we absorb ourselves in that spiritual being by contemplating on his qualities, his guna, his nature, his form, his activities, it frees us from absorption in matter. Our freedom begins there itself. So even if there is a problem with the body, even if the body is suffering in some manner, we don't experience that suffering in the same way because our absorption is in something higher. That gives us so much pleasure. Our Shraddha is so developed that we are able to live in that existence in our mind. So that mukti begins right from this body itself. That is one understanding of mukti. We call that Jivana Mukti. Even as we are alive, because of our absorption in that Parama Vastu, we feel liberation. The second understanding of liberation is something that can happen only after you give up this body, because when you are in the body, then the body is subject to all the forces of Maya. So there will be transformation, there will be vikar, there will be old age, there will be disease. The body will continue to have suffering, and because of that, you are not really a mukta. Therefore, you have to leave the body and not take another material body. Only then you are called a mukta. So that's another understanding of mukti. Mukti defined as the absence of another material existence in the future. So both forms of understanding, both types of understanding exist. But in the path of bhakti, we look only for that first one. where the understanding is not about not having a material body in the future, but about having bhakti at all times. Like Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says in the Shikshashtakam, he says, Mama Janmani Janmanishware. Na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye. Mama Janmani Janmanishware. Bhavatat bhaktir haitukittvai. Says, I'm not looking for money. I'm not looking for followers. I'm not looking for beautiful women. I'm not looking for recognition as a scholar. All I'm looking for is that birth after birth after birth, may I always have your bhakti. May bhakti be in my bhakti. Bhakti. May I always have that consciousness of bhakti. Birth after birth. So he's not saying, don't give me one more birth. That is one understanding of mukti. This understanding of mukti is that it is bhakti. Mukti is not the goal. Bhakti is the goal. Prema. Love, pure love. So if I have that, then mukti is very insignificant. It is irrelevant. That is far superior. That's the understanding that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he gave. No, it's not necessary. In fact, reading Gita, because Gita, see, among the three Prasthanatraya that Adi Shankara gave, the three Prasthanatraya are the Bhagavad-Gita, the Upanishads, and he wrote commentaries on 10 of them, and the Vedanta Sutras, the Brahma Sutras. Now, the Gita is the easiest one to read, to understand, the simplest one. After the Gita, the Upanishads. And after the Upanishads is the Brahma Sutra. The Brahma Sutra is just sutras, no? Small sutras. So it's very difficult to understand without a commentary. And so those commentaries also are difficult to understand because they expect a lot of previous understanding to know them, to understand them. The Gita is the easiest among them, and it's made easy by commentaries of others also, explained in simple terms. Om Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Gobhramanebhyo Shubhamastu Nityam Lokas Samastas Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Tad Vishnu of Paramam Padagum Sada Pashyanti Surayah Divi Vachakshuratatam Tadvipraso Vipanyavo Jagruvagum Sassamindhate Vishnor Paramam Padam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Dhanyavada. Punarmilama.